What is up, guys? It's your boy Coaster Jedi back here with another video. This is ranking all of the amusement parks I've been to, part 1. So I'll be releasing part 2 as well later after I release this one. So I've already released my top roller coasters, my top 25. So I thought I'd do the same for all the amusement parks that I've been to. So let's dive into this list. Actually, let's add a couple of clarifications for what it is. I'm not counting places with just one roller coaster. It's got to be actually a park, and I'm not counting like zoos or anything that happen to have rides. It has to be one park that stays there and that has multiple coasters. So let's get started with this list. At number 21 is Trimper's Rides in Ocean City, Maryland. This is a boardwalk park, and it's sort of a sketchy kind of place. It doesn't feel super safe there. The rides are okay. It's got a boomerang, it's called Tidal Wave, which is solid, and then a couple of smaller coasters. They've got an SPF spinner, a wacky worm, and a kiddie coaster. So it's nice that they have 4 coasters for such a small park, but you can't get on the kiddie coaster unless you have a kid, which is a little annoying as well, but I just don't love the atmosphere that much. And the one time when we tried to go there, it said it was open on the website, and then it was not open, so that was kind of annoying. So yeah, not my favorite park ever, but I mean, for what it is, it's okay. Number 20 is Palace Playland, and this is a very similar park with a little bit sketchy feeling. With 3 coasters. Sea Viper is, of course, the standout and the newest coaster there. It's a pretty solid ride. It's got some good elements to it, but it's nothing too crazy, just sort of a family coaster. Also got an SPF spinner and a kiddie coaster. So you've got a decent collection of rides, but once again, the atmosphere is a little annoying just because of how sketchy it is. But it does have a nice location. It's actually right next to the beach. So that's really cool that when you're on Sea Viper, you can just look out and see the water right next to you. So that's pretty cool. I do enjoy that. Next, we have Jolly Roger, both at the pier and 30th Street. So I'm counting this together as one park because you can purchase the Passport to Fun, and that will give you access to both places. So I'm counting it as one, even though it's 2 separate locations. They're probably about 10 minutes drive from each other. So, like Trimper's, it's located in Ocean City, Maryland, and it has a pretty solid collection of coasters. For me, the standout is Looping Star, the Pinfari Zyklon Looper, which a lot of people don't like, but I find this to be pretty fun and to have a solid couple elements to it. It also has a Schwarzkopf Wildcat, a Zero Flitzer, and a couple of smaller coasters. So a pretty solid coaster collection overall, and that's what gives it the edge over the last 2. Next, we have Funtown Splashtown USA in Saco, Maine. This is a very solid small park, and as a result, it's not a boardwalk park, and it has some nice charm to it. It has the best coaster we've talked about so far with Excalibur, which is a very solid CCI wooden coaster. It's a pretty solid ride. Then it also has a Wild Mouse to go along with it. The park has some nice charm. It just doesn't have a lot in terms of quantity, and that's what prevents it from being any higher on this list. Next, we have Adventure Park USA in Monrovia, Maryland. So this is a pretty solid park as well. It's got some nice atmosphere to it, and it's sort of like a mix between an amusement park and then like an indoor laser tag place. So it's an interesting place. I didn't really do any of the indoor stuff. I just came for the coasters, but it's a pretty cool place to spend an afternoon or so. It's got 3 coasters. Wild West Express is the standout here. As you can see on the screen, it's a very solid ride with a crazy drop turn. It almost feels like a non-inverting dive loop in a way. So that's pretty cool. You get some crazy whip if you're in the back seat. And then you also have a Schwarzkopf Wildcat and a kiddie coaster. So I definitely enjoyed my visit here. It was a solid park. Next is Quasi, home to the famous Wooden Warrior. So Wooden Warrior, very solid ride, very enjoyable, great for families and for thrill seekers alike. And it also has another coaster, Little Dipper, the kiddie coaster. But what really makes this park stand out is its location. It's on a lake. The park is very scenic, very beautiful, very nice looking, and it just gives some nice atmosphere while you're there. And that really makes a difference, and it's why I like this park over parks with more coasters to them. I think it's just the atmosphere really adds to it. Plus, Wooden Warrior is just a really fun ride. Next up is Family Kingdom, and this is a really fun sort of boardwalk park. It's not exactly a boardwalk park because it's not like literally right on the ocean, but it's in that area and it feels like a boardwalk park. But what really makes this park stand out is Swamp Fox, the PTC wooden coaster. This is what a phenomenal ride this is. There's some great airtime. It may be a little short, but the coaster is fantastic. They also have a Wild Mouse and a Kitty coaster, and Swamp Fox is really what gives Family Kingdom the spot on this list. It's a very fun ride. At 14, we have Lake Compounce, and this might be a little controversial because I know a lot of people are big fans of this park, but I find that a couple of their coasters just weren't very good. They have 5 total rides, but unfortunately, you can't ride the Kitty coaster. Boulder Dash was massively overrated. Zoomerang was the worst boomerang I've ridden, and Wildcat was just an atrocious wooden coaster. Really, the reason that it's up this high is because of Phobia Fear Coaster, which is a pretty enjoyable skyrocket too, that doesn't have comfort collar, so that's always a plus. So it's an enjoyable ride for sure. Boulder Dash, don't get me wrong, it has one of the coolest settings of any coaster, but it just didn't have a lot of redeeming factors besides speed. There just wasn't really any airtime, and it was pretty rough. So that's why it doesn't really go any higher for me. So, but I don't blame you if you really love this park. I can see why. I just didn't have the best experience with the rides here. Here's another controversial pick, Knoebels. I know a lot of people really love Knoebels. And Phoenix is a fantastic wooden coaster. It's one of my favorite wooden coasters I've ridden. And then it has a couple of other solid coasters like Impulse and Flying Turns, both very good rides. But I didn't really love the feel here. It felt like sort of a sketchy campground. And I know that's part of the charm, but it just didn't work for me for some reason. I was so confused of what to do like when we got to the park. It also probably didn't help that I went on one of the busiest days of the year. There was some sort of family picnic or something going on, and we were stuck in some really long lines, which was annoying. But overall, it's a solid park. I just wish I'd had a better experience here. Next is my favorite of the smaller parks that I've been to, Canopy Lake. And I just really enjoyed my day here. I found that it had great atmosphere, it has a beautiful setting on the lake, it has lots of shade and forestry, and it just looks really nice. The coaster collection is also very solid. Yankee Cannonball is a very fun wooden coaster, and it just goes all the way around the parking lot, and I think that's really cool. It just kind of welcomes you as you come in. Untamed is also a very solid Gerstlauer Eurofighter, and they also have Canopy Corkscrew and Dragon Coaster, so they have a pretty good collection of coasters for only having 4. But really, it was the atmosphere and fun that I had in this park that gave it the edge over some of the other smaller parks. So now we're moving on to the bigger parks, and this will be the last park in this part before we get to my top 10 next video. And this is Six Flags America, my least favorite of the large parks that I've been to. Now, I don't hate this park like some people do. I find it to have a pretty solid coaster collection. It has a strong top 3 with Batwing, Superman Ride of Steel, and Joker's Jinx, all of which are in my top 50. And it has some okay supporting coasters like Roar and Firebird. Even though I haven't ridden Firebird, I rode it as Apocalypse and it was alright. But it also has some pretty bad coasters like Mind Eraser, and I'm not a big fan of Wild One. I know some people are, but I didn't really like it personally. They also have very bad operations. They often run one train on coasters. So I haven't been to this park since 2017, so I can't really speak for how it's been recently, but I did not think that it was run as well as it could have been. But that being said, I don't hate this park. I still had a good time in both of my days here. That I've been to it, and it overall has a strong enough collection of coasters that makes it not a bad park. Alright guys, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Make sure to look out for part 2, which will be coming, and that will be my top 10 coasters, my top 10 parks that I've been to. So I'm excited to release that one and for you guys to see what it looks like. Alright, as always, you guys are awesome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.